So, yeah, so that's, if he's not active, I don't feel like he does as well. So,
Yeah.
and neither do I, because he's jumping on my head.
Yeah, no, fair enough. No, they need their exercise. We actually came up north and there's a trampoline. We just put it together today. And she was out there bouncing for, oh my gosh, felt like hours and hours, but it's good. And it just, they're different kids when they get to burn off that energy, right? So
it's true. We all need it. I mean, if we're stagnant, we don't sleep well, we're not social. Yeah, like when I see people, I'm like so chatty. It's so different to see someone in person. Even the barista, I'm like, how are you doing? What's going on today?
Okay, well, we'll get started. So I'm going to introduce you all. Thanks for coming tonight. This is Michelle McVittie, and you're from Hamilton area?
Hamilton, Ontario. Yeah.
And you are the CEO and founder of Mom the Manager.
Yeah.
So before I get started as to who you are, I actually bumped into you through Revolution Her. I think we were partnered up and we ended up going in the same room together. Yeah. And I thought, how cool is Mom the Manager? So you essentially are a child life specialist, parenting coach, and you're the author of, get this, you guys, here's the book name, and I love it. I Quit. Oh, wait, I'm the mom.
That's right.
And so, yeah, we just started talking and had a bit of a, basically our clientele, our customers, our families are sort of in the same sort of range. And I was saying how, hire and fire kids will bring to light sort of where the issues lie, but from there we don't take care of it. So if your kid's getting X's over and over for the same thing, well, then what? And so I thought it would be great to have you on to sort of share some of the then what's with some of the families that are playing hire and fire. So you've got 20 years experience and you've been helping families and children, working in pediatric medical, mental health. You've got some experience in young offenders and daycare. So you've got a wealth of experience.
I know thousands of people I've worked with. It's unbelievable.
That's great. So hopefully tonight you can share some of your tidbits or parenting strategies to help us, especially these crazy days where I think a lot of us are hoping to foster stronger relationships. And we're heading into March break shortly. They're going to be home again, and who knows in Ontario if it will be even longer based on some of the numbers we're seeing in the news these days. So I think we'll get started. And I had people write in and ask questions, and I'm going to monitor them tonight as well as we get started.
Great.
But the first one I have is, I feel my kids should be doing what I ask, but that doesn't always happen. And so they're curious to know, if I start using rewards, is that like bribery? If I start to reward my kids for getting them to do what I ask?
Yeah. Well, there's a few different things in that question. And, children want to do well. They really do. However, their values are not our values. So we want to keep that in mind as well. So when we say get ready for bed, we think they have to get to bed, they have to get a good sleep. We have a routine, whatever. And they're just thinking like, I don't want to go to bed. Like, I've got other things to do. I'm not tired. You're tired. I could stay up for another 3 hours and still get up at 6 a.m. Right. So thinking that, that what is important to you is important to them, that sometimes becomes a bit of a clash. Then we end up talking too much. Right. So the thing is that we want to keep it simple, and then rewards, what it does is it's a motivator, right? So, I mean, your app would be perfect for that, because we want our children to do well. It's like potty training. We have no problem with giving a reward for potty training, but then after that, we feel like it's bribery. Mm-hmm. It is bribery if you do not get it set up first. The reason that you would use a reward chart is because I want you to get something done. And the reward is because you follow through. And some children need more of that. You don't continue giving your child rewards when they've already done that, right? So if they eat well, you don't give them a Smartie or a sticker because they eat well. Yeah. You are giving them a reward for things they're not doing. And then we talk about it first. And then how many things do they have to do before they get their reward? So talking about it, seeing what their motivators are, it has to be kind of set up. You can't just, oh, good job, here's $5. What did I do? I don't know what I did. You know?
And do you find there's a certain age that's more beneficial when you start to introduce sort of the motivation piece, or?
I mean, all motivation is paying attention. Everybody loves that. My husband makes me coffee before he goes to work. I send him a text and say, thank you. Guess what? I get coffee. Everybody
Right.
likes to be acknowledged,
Yeah,
right? So
recognition.
recognition
Yeah.
is a reward. People think rewards is walking around with $5 bills, right? You do not have to give money. Just acknowledging for some kids is enough. I mean, if you know the 5 love languages by Gary Chapman, he talks about there's certain love languages that, so positive affirmations is one. If
Yeah.
somebody says something nice, I like that. Quality time. I'd rather sit and read a book with mom than get a dollar store item. Right.
Yes.
So it's really just figuring out what that motivator is, but everybody likes it. And,
yeah.
and
what was the name of the book again? We'll put it in the comments.
so
too.
it's Dr. Gary Chapman, and it's the 5 love languages.
Okay.
And the reason why I mention it is because different people are motivated by different things. So there's 5 love languages that we usually have a top 2, and mine is positive affirmations and quality time. There's intimacy, like some kids really like hugs, gifts. How many was that? I don't know. Anyway.
That's good. Really good. I'm always looking for new books. I've heard of this one before, but I haven't.
No, it's really good.
Yeah,
Acts of service is the other one. So if somebody, kids, like if you make your child their special meal or you help them clean their room, that is their love language. They like that.
Oh, very good. Okay. All right. Question number 2 coming in here. I want my kids to do more on their own. How do I make that happen?
Yes. Again, being clear and not jumping into fix. So the thing that you have to also remember with children is how old are they? If they are 5, are they functioning at a 5-year-old level? Because what some parents, they get angry because the 5-year-old does better than the 9-year-old, and you think like, well, the 9-year-old maybe has ADHD or a learning difficulties, or they're just more disorganized, right? So what exactly do you want them to do? And then when they're struggling, or I can't do this, or they do it, and then you come in and you clean it up, they're like, I'm not going to do it because clearly it's not good enough. So you have to be able to tolerate a little bit of distress in yourself to be like, listen, if I'm going to clean up the streaky window, then I'm going to do it afterwards. Or maybe we need to do a little bit of a redo and say, buddy, I really appreciate you helping me. What I find is doing it this way, or not using so much product, like a dryer cloth, because then we have the streaks. But I'm really happy that you tried, like, good for you. So again, acknowledgement, right? And what are those things that you want them to do? Because if we just say, go get ready, what does that mean? But parents think, well, we've been doing this all along. They should know. Well, if they're not doing it, we have to kind of step back and see. But being very specific.
My youngest 6-year-old, she every week wants to wash the windows, like this.
Yes.
The window.
Yes.
So you think she'd be getting better? It is a little bit better, but it's still like.
It
is. She loves it. Like she loves it. She loves putting it in there, and but she's short too. She never gets the top of it. She get her a ladder next time.
Exactly. But you know what? That's what builds autonomy. They want to do well, right? And your child will hopefully not be living in your basement at 50, because it's like, I know how to take care of things. I know how to do things, but we tend to hold tightly onto them or jump in and do things. And then at like 15, we expect that they know how to make their own dinner. They know how to do their laundry and take a bus. And we've been doing everything for them.
Right.
So, right.
Yeah, no, I think it's hard too, especially as moms, because we think we can do it better, faster, right? And it's just like we can get it off our list quicker. So but you're right. Like, and we've seen that too with people that actually let their kids, and the kids are surprising them, and they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know my kid could do that.
Exactly. And then say that to them. Not, I'm surprised you can do it, but just like, I'm so proud of you. Or look at, I always can depend on you to be out of the door on time. I'm so proud of you, because I say that as well to my kids, that, I brag that I tell people, you have been walking to school by yourself for the last, I don't know how long it's been actually, because they wake up on their own, they make their own lunch, they make their own breakfast, and they walk to and from school. I mean, my son is over, it's almost 2 kilometers he walks to now to his new school. But yeah, they do it, and it's great, right? And he knows exactly where the slushies are because he comes home with a slushie like at least once a week. He's got his allowance money, and he does what he wants with it,
and
right?
that frees up your time because you're
That's
not having to do all these things. So that's great. That's
Exactly.
great.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, here's one coming now. How do I get my kids to open up? It's so hard to get answers out of them, especially these days.
Yeah, so getting your children to talk is really important. Sometimes we get the I don't know, right?
Nothing.
Nothing. Yes. And it's like you're doing this every day and you're saying it's nothing, or you just had a meltdown and now you don't want to talk about it. So timing is really important, because we are like, let's talk about it right now, right? And the kid's like, no, I'm not interested. Or I just calmed down and now you're revving me back up again. Some children as well, I mean, emotion, they want to protect themselves from big emotions. So some children will shut down and say no because of that. So they want to protect themselves from that. And when I talk about my emotion, more emotion comes up. And see what you've done? Now you've made me cry. Now this was fine, right? But the thing is where are we coming from? And asking those questions and saying, using a meltdown for an example to say, I'm noticing homework is really tough for you, or you really wanted to go to the park. And then before we left for the park, there was a half an hour meltdown. We didn't end up going to the park. Help me understand. And not using the why question, because the why question is when you say why, it breaks down the conversation. Like it'll usually shut it down. And then the other thing is if you say, why did you do that? Or why do you act that way? It's actually shaming. So we're saying you did it on purpose. I'm disappointed in you. And then shame, we want to cover shame up. So a lot of kids will be like, I don't know, I don't care, whatever, but they're feeling shame. So then they shut down even more, or they'll act out.
So I think I've definitely used the why. So what are you saying to use instead?
Well, help me understand.
Help me understand. Okay.
And what is and coming from the concern that about the child. Because if we say, you know what, like this is, even when they have like a meltdown, right? They have a meltdown and we say, you know what, we're trying to have a nice family night and you're ruining it. You need to get out of here and go calm down. Like if you're going to scream, go somewhere else. So this child is thinking, great. So my feelings don't matter because I'm ruining everything for everybody else. Well, you know what? I'm going to ruin it even more. Like you don't want this? Fine. Let's make it louder.
Right.
So but to us, we're having a hard time tolerating this emotion is an inconvenience to us, and really in a lot of ways, because sometimes we just want to throw butterflies and fairies at it. Just be fine. It's not a big deal. But to them, they're saying this means something to me. So being able to meet them where they're at, right? To be like, okay, like you're really upset. Help me understand. My concern is this. For you, not necessarily, that you're ruining our lives. Like, what is your concern about them? What really is this about? And is it an adult concern or is it really to do with the child? Because sometimes we will bring in our own concerns and what is bothering us. And again, going back to the first question of what is the child valuing and what is the adult valuing? And we have to kind of bring it together, right? Okay. So opening up that conversation can be hard, but it's worth it.
All right. Writing that one down. Okay, what else do we have on here? Here's someone that says that they do want to give rewards, but their partner doesn't agree.
Yes.
That can be complicated.
Of course. Yeah. And I think that is difficult. I mean, because, children will split, right? So they know what they can get away with one parent, and they know what they can get away with another parent. And then grandma comes over and it's a whole different story, right? So children will try, they will try to get away with things. So parents being on the same page is really important. And when I do my parent consultations, I sometimes, like I give out a questionnaire to find out what they feel about their child's behavior, how, all these, kind of questions, what the child is like. And sometimes I get polar opposite answers, right? So I will be like, okay, we need to meet because you're over here and you're over here. So where can we meet somewhere in the middle? Because sometimes it's really tough, and I'm not a marriage counselor or anything like that, but I help parents kind of see things, and you have to be flexible, because if you're two rigid people, there's a lot of explosion. You have a rigid child, you have a rigid parent, there's a lot of explosion. So you want to reframe your things to be flexible, and that it's not manipulative to have a conversation if it's two-sided, right? Because some parents are like, well, they're just manipulative. They're just trying to get what they want. Well, you can listen to them, but they have to listen to me too. Right. And it's the same thing with your partner, to say, so where are you coming from? Let's take a look at this and see. So you think that it's bribery, right? Okay, so you think this child just should be making their bed. They should be just listening. They should be doing their homework, and then we're shooting all over the place, right? And it doesn't help, right? So we're stuck. We're not getting behaviors started. And we've noticed that with this child, they actually do well with rewards. We can take a look at this Hire and Fire maybe app, or do a little reward chart where, they have to do 3 things on their morning routine, and then they get their check. And after 2 checks, they get their reward. And then eventually we're going to kind of drag it out, because we want them to start. It is tough. Sometimes you have to get help from somebody like me. Sometimes, watching a video, or watching something like this, where both of you are getting the same kind of information, but let's kind of meet in the middle, because it's not going to work if one parent wants to do it and the other one doesn't, for consistency, or that parent that wants to do it will have to take it on and be that role model to show, at least give me a try, and I will take care of it, and I will work on it. You won't need
give me 2 weeks. Give me 2 weeks. Let's see whatever, and then we can go and try yours.
And then try something different. Right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good. And then this person, I don't know if we answered this one, a lot of reward things. If I start with rewards, am I going to have to reward forever? Yeah. Are you still going to have to be rewarding them at 18 plus years of age, or at 50 if they're still living in your home?
Hopefully not, right? Yeah. Well, and I think the reward stuff is, it's hard, because parents don't like to give the rewards. They feel like the kids just should be doing it. And again, it's really about getting a behavior started and having a conversation with your child to say, look, this isn't working out. We're yelling a lot in the morning. I'm noticing that your room is so messy that you're having a hard time finding your clothing in the morning. So let's work on this. And I know that this is tough for you. So what do you think about a motivator? Or the other thing too is that you could use like a when then, right? So when you do something I want, then you get something you want. So when you clean your room for 10 minutes, then you can go outside and play. And if they don't do that 10-minute, and again, you might have to supervise that, because, and what does 10 minutes look like for the child?
You're playing Lego for 9 and
right.
Shoving the rest in their closet and shutting the door for the last minute.
And I think that's the other piece too, is that, is it organized? Do you have an expectation? Because number one, maybe remove everything from the room that doesn't belong there. Right? So that could be step 1, and really kind of breaking things down, because children, they don't get this. It's not important to them. And like, what is that process? You ask them to clean a sink. What are they going to do? They grab a little piece of toilet paper and then they wipe it down, right? And they leave everything on there. We have to pull everything off. This is the cloth that we're going to use. And we even need to write that down for some kids.
And they're really good with checklists, I find. And we have that in the app too, right? Like clean the bathroom, because you're right. It could be like, oh, sink's done. No. Toilet, mirrors, floors.
Exactly.
But they're really good with checklists, I find.
I think so. Yeah. And I think talk about it too, because for some kids, yes, they could clean a whole bathroom, but there's no way my kids are cleaning a toilet. Like, and I don't blame them, like, to clean a toilet, right? Like it's kind of gross, right? Like, so that's fine. My kids will unload a dishwasher, but they don't want to load a dishwasher because it is gross. Like you're in the dirty water and you got to rinse stuff off. It's like, so I get it. So we have, again, it's about that give and take and what are they able to do? And there's no point in fighting over things when we can give a choice, right? Like I have one chart that's called, team family, where, let's just pretend that it's not COVID and people are coming over for dinner, so what would I need to get done? The floors need to be washed in the kitchen. The living room needs to be vacuumed, and then the next one would be dusted. The table has to be set, that kind of stuff. And then everybody has a little check for their name. And you can pick whatever one you want. And some of them might be a two-man job, right? But you're giving them a choice. My husband loves to cook, then I will clean, right? He loves to do that. So why would I force him to clean if why fight over it?
No, I think that's great too with Hire and Fire too, is that it is the kid's choice. It's not the parents assigning or telling. It's like, here's what you want to do. You can sign up. And I know for my daughter too with the room, because she's all against cleaning her room. Why do we need to clean my room? It's my room. And so when we did the choice, like, you need to clean your room once a week. You get to pick the day. I don't care when it's done, as long as it's done that one day a week. And the rest of it, you can look as long as your door's closed. And so we have Clean Your Room Fridays, and it works. And, she needs reminding every now and again, but she's committed to that. That was her choice. And so it's so much easier for them to follow through because
it was her choice, because not everything do they want. However, there's a negotiation here. Let's talk about this. There's a give and take, and once a week is fair. And really, if you have to have that conversation, it's really tough for you to get ready in the morning, or when you don't have a clean room and your room is cluttered, you actually can't have a good sleep. Like, sleep hygiene is part of having clean sheets, a clean area, a cool, like all that stuff, right? But that's a lot of the issue with a lot of the kids. They've got the electronics there. They've got a dirty room. It's cluttered. Like, they're sleeping. They're not sleeping well, right? We can do a lot better. Some of them don't really care. But we can kind of maybe talk about a little bit of this concern. So this is where I'm coming from, instead of you just want everything to be clean because the house has to be a certain way. And it's like, well, this is actually part of it. And I agree, it is your room, but there needs to be a little bit of a give and take here.
Good. Yeah. And I think it's important too, what you say about the parents and balancing it is, and it was something that we did because we were a blended family, is he had a very different parenting style to mine. So when we came together, we kind of were just winging it for a while until like there was an event. And I was like, wait a second, these kids don't know what are expectations. We don't even know. So my husband and I actually sat down and went through, what are the rewards we're prepared to actually give money, and what are the ones that are expected as part of our home. And it was a really good learning experience for him and I. Right?
Of course.
It's really good. Are you getting an echo at all? I'm getting echo feedback.
A little bit.
Let me just see if I can fix this quickly. Okay, we can keep going. Yeah, I just hear a little bit of an echo.
Yeah. Is there any other questions that are coming up? Does anybody?
Let's take a look here. No, I think that's the bulk of them that I've gotten. If anyone's listening out there, I can see a few people online here. Yeah, put your notes in the comments and we'll get back to them. And if we don't get back to them now, we can always get back to you later if we see them in here. We're doing the contest. So Michelle has been very generous and has given away a 1-hour parent consult. So we'll do that draw. I figure we'll give 24 hours because people can watch the playback, and we'll show them on your sites too. And so anyone that makes a comment on here as you're watching, we'll add you into the draw, and we'll do the draw tomorrow night at 8 p.m. and get back to you. But that's great. So thank you.
Yes,
and I'm sure it's quite fitting because we've never been through this before. Parenting during a pandemic, I'm sure, has brought forward, lots of newness and ways to handle it. So to have an expert to be able to lean on, I think is quite helpful during this time.
And I think now what's happening is that we're actually seeing the struggle of our children, right? Because we are around them more. And the other thing too, I mean, and the reason that I wrote my book was because I want women, moms, I mean, all parents as well, but that there's a different way, right? That we just keep doing and doing, and we don't take a break. And during this time, there isn't a lot of time for breaks. So a lot of our stress is because of this overwhelm and just not being able to get out and to do things. And because you're here, the child is like, well, I don't have to get my own water. I'm just going to ask mom. She's right here, right? But I'm in a Zoom meeting.
Right.
Or like, you have your own legs. You go ahead. But sometimes we just do it, right? So then it's tough because when you're in that snow globe of stress, right? You're not thinking straight. And that's where I'm seeing a lot of the burnout in parents where we're just exhausted. So when you are in a snow globe of stress, our perception is off. And so what normally we would have been like, not a big deal. Now it's even bigger, right? It's even more of a stress because we are feeling burnt out. So
and I think I know even for me, like last year, like the self-care just went out the window. And this year I sort of made an effort to consciously start working out again and start showering every other day, because you just get in this funk and you start feeling bad about yourself. I'm a horrible mom. Like you just sort of come down. I've heard this from so many other women. And so to be able to sort of give yourself care first, then all of a sudden all these other things start to fall into place.
It's true. It's true. And self-care is about feeling rejuvenated. And, there's a lot of debate about the self-care, and it's not, having a shower. You should be having a shower. But unfortunately, some women are not having showers, right? Because, I mean, maybe dads too. Like, I work with mostly moms, but like I haven't showered in 3 days. I haven't done my hair. So what rejuvenates you? For some people, it's putting their makeup on, getting outside in nature, having 8 hours of sleep, setting an alarm and going to bed. And if you're going to wash the floors, do it in the morning where you have more energy, and where do you have the most energy? Because some people do like to be early risers. Some people do better at night. But just those little things that every day, if you just do those little things, they're going to make you feel better. And then you can do the bigger stuff. But the little stuff is important. Routines, right? Yeah, it's important.
For sure. Okay, well, good. Well, those were most of the questions. So I just wanted to say, where can people find you? So where can they find you if they want to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so I'm all over the place. You can find me everywhere. So you can find me on Facebook. So I have a Facebook page, Mom the Manager, and I do have a closed group called Overworked to Overjoyed. And so I'm going to, I'm filling that group up, going to be doing lots of parenting tips in there. And then my website is momthemanager.ca. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I mean,
you're on TikTok. Your Instagram's so funny. Oh, you're on TikTok? I haven't seen you. Your Instagram is so funny. I love all your Instagrams. They're great.
Thank you. Yeah, I just got on TikTok. I have 4 videos and 11 followers.
Ooh.
It's a start.
You'll have 12 after tonight.
Yes, maybe. But it's been fun. So I'm just kind of checking things out and seeing what people are doing. But the TikToks are good. My son thought that I did something, that I rigged it, because I got like over 800 views for my first 3 videos. And I'm like, I didn't do anything. I don't know. My next one is so many, but
oh, well, good luck. I haven't attempted it yet. So it makes me nervous, but I need to, especially because the kids are all on there too, right? There's a lot of
well, it's fun. Like, it's funny. There's some really cool things on there. I love all the animal videos. There's a few, like, people our age, right? Like, funny people on there that I'm like, I like listening to these people. Or good.
Entertainment, right? Entertainment. Yeah. I just don't want to get lost in the endless scroll. So yeah, I haven't attempted it yet.
Yes,
It's on my
true. You
list
have to,
though.
you have to
It's on
set
my
a timer.
list. Yeah.
Set a timer for yourself. Give yourself a chunk of time and then shut it down. Because
Yeah,
I know.
very good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. And as I said, on your website, if you check out the Mom the Manager website, you have tons of freebies, charts. You do a 20-minute free discovery session, I think, for
Yes, I
parent.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have the 2 books or the 1 book only right now?
I have 1 book. I have an idea for another one. And so, but just the one right now. I do lots of downloadables. So I have an Etsy store plus on my website.
Okay.
Because charts out there can be a little confusing and they're a little bit, they're fancy, right?
Okay.
But then they get a little overwhelming. So I keep them pretty simple.
Good.
And for older kids too. And
Okay. And your book we can find on Amazon and Indigo?
everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's
Okay.
everywhere. Yeah. Well, you're not going in the stores. In the stores, go online. Amazon, Kindle, Google Books, Amazon, Benz and North, like whatever, wherever you are. America,
Okay, good.
Canadian, where I'm out
And
there.
once again, you guys, it's I quit. Oh, wait, I'm the mom. So good. Okay, Michelle, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it. And if anyone wants to reach out to her directly, you can find her at the momthemanager.ca. Is that right?
That's correct.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Have a good night.
Bye.